Oh, those pesky Terps. Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Tay and Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Derek Piper, Lante. Oh.
No Kyle, and he could have been here.
Yeah, no showing. No showing like Illinois in the second half yesterday.
He did text us last night like at 8:45, which is dangerously close to my bedtime, and I had actually just gone to bed. I mean, that is pathetic, Pipes. It's just so cold out. I'm like, all I want to do is
it's brutal.
Just get into a bed and get warm. That's all I want to do. But he asked if he had been fired yet. I said no, and then today he made no extra effort to come down. And then I had forgotten, like you just told me, well, it's Martin Luther King Day, so they didn't have school. So I'm giving him another chance. Otherwise, he was going to be fired on site.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him
He knows
chance.
We can't fire him.
Right. So. Especially me if I want to go to any of Andrew's events.
That's right.
So
he knows that my daughter's coming soon, that, you know, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. He can do the Dennis Rodman and go to Vegas just unannounced, and we'll have to go back and get him, and he'll be hanging out with Carmen Electra. I'm like, Kyle, you got to come back and do the show because Pipes is going to have a baby.
Of course, that'd be his grandma by now. Carmen would be a little old for him.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. I don't know what the equivalent of that is today, but
right.
We'll leave that to the text line to talk about, and maybe not us. But anyways.
Can I say something before we get nitty-gritty into basketball? Because I know we're going to talk all about that game last night. Luke Goody at 3:30. Mm-hmm. The thing that it was like the 24-hour news that just kind of slipped past us is that Andy Boo is gone as a football coach at the University of Illinois. Also, Antonio Finellis, who was the defensive backs coach.
And that came down Thursday night, right?
Thursday night. And
during the middle of the Illinois-Michigan State game.
That's right. And we didn't discuss it Friday. We had plenty going on. But can I just say that one really surprised me. I understand there's going to be shakeups on a coaching staff. Andy Boo, since he's gotten here, has seemed to be maybe your number one recruiter. I mean, he has gone into New Jersey. He's gone out east. He just went out to Utah and got Easton Baker. He's been a guy that seemingly, unless Brett Bielema was lying all this time, has done a hell of a job recruiting. And it always seemed like the linebackers, I thought Odaluga and who was the dude that led him in tackles? Not Tariq Barnes, but
Dylan Rosiak.
I thought those two improved. I mean,
Rosiak got a good year last year.
Yeah, I didn't see any. You know, I didn't see any regression or anything out of linebackers. So that one caught me off guard. And I know that I've read that maybe he has somebody up his sleeve, John Holasek. I don't know. Maybe he's got somebody there that he has plans for. But
how many years has John Holasek's name been dropped every offseason?
There's no doubt. I don't know. That one just shocked me.
It was perplexing to me as well. Again, like Jeremy Warner would know it far better than I would as far as the recruiting impact, and I cede my ultimate opinion maybe to what he has to say in terms of that goes. But, yeah, no doubt. It was under my impression that he was a recruiting asset. Of course, Easton Baker is one of those guys that pops on film and had a chance to go to Oklahoma, but it was Andy Boo going out there pretty much like a day after seeing his tape and doing an in-home visit or at least an at-school get-together and offered and was able to get that thing done. But we'll see what the response is in terms of the guy that Bielema probably has in mind to get rid of somebody that had success and that had been doing well in recruiting and had someone like Dylan Rosiak who had a good year last year. It makes you wonder if there's just somebody he couldn't say no to in terms of a replacement. On the note of Anthony Finellis, I think it's tough for someone to come in year one and then be gone the following year. But then again, like if we were going to start talking about the holes in Illinois' football team last year, you'd start with the defensive backfield. How much was he to blame for that?
I was going to say.
They would know more than that, within the Smith Center and out looking on the practice field and whatnot. But I would, if I'm arguing for Finellis, I'd say, was the personnel there to have a better year than they did? I mean, I get it. It was pretty brutal, but especially at corner, not being able to go out and, as I've said a million times, not going in the portal, and they still need to go to the portal for the defensive backfield, in my opinion.
I agree. He got Rick Renteria.
Yeah. And it's surprising because it's a guy that, similar to Aaron Henry, it's a guy that Brett Bielema's coached before.
Sure.
It's a guy that was a groomsman in Aaron Henry's wedding. That's one of his best friends.
Wow.
And for him, I know that he was in the running for the defensive backs coach when Aaron Henry got it. And then ultimately they picked Aaron Henry, and then as Aaron got promoted, they brought Finellis back into the mix and hired him. So
there's always another side to the story.
There is, and I don't know what that side is, and I don't know what the replacements are going to look like. But yeah, I know that John Holasek is someone that people have pretty frequently wondered about, and if that's the response and the hire, I mean, that seems like it'd be a very good one. But I'm with you. I think Andy Boo, as far as we understand it, had been a pretty qualified and effective coach in that position, at least from the outside looking in.
Agree. And that's the way probably to say it. We're not inside Smith Center, like you said. I'm not there on game day. I'm not one to sit here and have the capabilities of analyzing a linebackers coach and what all the linebackers are doing and what assignments they missed. I mean, Jay Lehman would be a good one to visit with. We just lost him one Monday too short. Everything's fine with Jay, by the way. He was going until last Monday.
This is our first Monday without Jay.
Yeah,
right?
This is weird, man. That like the energy's down. You can just tell. It's amazing on a holiday how people are not out. Like there's no traffic.
It's scarce right now.
It's just horrible. I mean, and I don't blame him. I
appreciated the drive over not being too congested, but
of course people are like, well, it's 0 degrees. Why do I want to get out? I don't blame you. So yeah, but
there's football on, man.
Oh, right, exactly. The Steelers are on. That's right. There was a Big Ten basketball game today between Ohio State and Michigan.
Did you see on Twitter? I know we're sidetracking here and belaboring the point of Illinois losing a game at home yesterday to a team that has been having a rough season, but Gus Johnson apparently talking about how the NBA is going to want to pluck Juwan Howard.
Really? For who? Like, really?
He says that on the heels of Michigan having a 5-game losing streak, being nowhere close to the NCAA tournament this year. They missed it last year. Juwan Howard's going to get fired. He's not going to jump to the NBA, leaving his post in Ann Arbor. He's going to get fired barring some miraculous comeback here.
Michigan is going to lose their football coach and their basketball coach to the professional ranks, right? Harbaugh's he's going to interview, I think, with the Chargers, or he already has, I think is what I read today.
Did that come out today?
I think that came out today. I saw something that showed that. Now, I don't know. And then
probably going to get interviewed by the Cowboys.
Oh, man.
On the note, Daryl, yes, hat tip to your Packers. Love does look great. I lost money betting the Cowboys. Are you happy now? Are you happy?
I did too.
I was not happy seeing that. I'm happy for Joey Wagner, our good friend, who's a Packers fan.
Yeah, can I say this, though, from the rest of the league and not a Bears fan? We're tired of the Packers and their run of quarterbacks. Yeah. It's not even fair.
Spoiled.
If you look around the league at what most every team has had to deal with, I do give the Packers credit, though. Maybe they're on to something. Maybe if you're let me take my team because I know it the best. Maybe in 2 years you draft a quarterback high, even if Kyler is your quarterback for another 2 or 3 years, and you make that guy the understudy to Kyler Murray to when Kyler Murray is done, or you move on from him, or he retires, or whatever happens, then that dude is not only ready, but he's been under him for 2 to 3 years. I don't know if this is just accidental that Rodgers sat under Favre and then Love sat under Rodgers, but all three of them seem to be hits. And Love had a great season this year. He had a perfect game. Like I was listening to that this morning, that in terms of the analytics.
Yeah, the QBR was like 99 point something out of 100.
Game.
It's unbelievable.
And it's just
now, some of his receivers were wide open. I don't know what Dallas was doing defensively. That's been one of the best defensive units all season long, but they got toasted, but admittedly Love was throwing dimes off his back foot, and I hate it. I was just a week ago going off on Tony Romo for belaboring and continuing to hammer home this is the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. Like, look at the form on this throw. He does kind of emulate him a little bit. I don't remember well enough back to when Love was playing at Nevada, but that quick release, a little bit of like that sidearm action off the back foot, just some of the mechanics are definitely reminiscent of Aaron Rodgers. So I hate that we're even doing this.
I know.
There's a trash can over there I'm about to throw up in, but I do give the Packers credit. I mean, they have drafted well through the years, and even at the receiving core, I know some would say, which accurately so, they've been without Christian Watson almost the entire season, but Jaden Reed was a great pick. I get sick to my stomach every time I watch him play because the Bears could have drafted him in the second round. But they traded that second round pick to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. Rashee Rice, the best wide receiver on the Chiefs, another one of those. But
wow. Yeah, I'm committed now at 53, Drink, to the fact that there's just going to be some organizations in every sport.
They're going to get it right.
They get it right. And whether or not that is luck, I mean, it's not all luck, but whether or not they catch a break or two down the road that kind of keeps them right where they need to be, even in a kind of a off-setting kind of season like the Steelers. That's a perfect example. They just figure it out. They just figure it out.
The Niners with Brock Purdy.
Oh, my God.
They got it wrong with Trey Lance, and they're still fantastic. They're number 1 seed in the NFC.
Now,
Imagine
that's luck. That's luck.
That's supposed to be a, franchise-altering, set you back for 5 years.
Traded 3 first-round picks.
At least.
Yeah.
To shell that type of draft capital and draft the wrong guy, and then, nope, they're
take
fine.
Mr. Irrelevant, and he turns into leading the NFL or whatever in pass yards. I mean, that is an example of luck. I'm sorry. You'll never explain. You will never tell me. I mean, the Niners passed on him.
Right.
How many times that draft?
Yeah, but the situation also is great. I mean, the offensive line is really good. They have Christian McCaffrey. They have Deebo Samuel. They have George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk's been pretty good. Like, the situation is very, very, very good for whoever's going to be that quarterback. So then you give him credit on that sense. Where there's the push and pull of like.
But you're not throwing Clayton Tune into that offense, who's the backup, by the way, in Arizona, or the third backup, and he's not leading them and leading the league in throwing. Maybe I'm wrong, but you're right. I mean, the situation certainly dictates that, and that's why a lot of people are on your side with Fields. Get him surrounded by everything, right? Yeah. And he will become that, or he will show you that.
And this wasn't a great weekend for my side of the argument because people are going and flaunting C.J. Stroud's stats, flaunting Jordan Love's stats, and saying there's a big difference between these guys and someone like Justin Fields, which
Stroud is a stud.
I get it. Those guys look really good. They look really good.
All right, we can talk basketball now.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Well, you got me bummed out.
Why did we even show up today? We've got Illinois losing to Maryland. The Steelers are on. I don't want to talk about that at all, and I have to. The Packers do what they did.
Yep. It is what it is. All right.
Luke Goody at 3:30.
Luke Goody at 3:30. Maybe he can cheer us up.
Right.
I don't know how cheery he's going to be after yesterday. All right, so Illinois at home against Maryland, a team you should beat, a team that's having a tough year. You look at them in the net, and that matters, especially as we get closer and closer to March. And oh, by the way, we're mid-January, a month and a half from essentially you're in March Madness. You're gearing up for Selection Sunday. And Maryland was in like 118th in the net. They were the second worst in the Big Ten as far as net rankings. If you're not into the net and into the quads and all that kind of stuff, just let me put it flat out. You lose at home on, not that I'm breaking any news, you lose on your home floor to Maryland. It's a bad loss. It's a very bad loss. It falls into a quad 3, which is not good. It hurts Illinois as far as where they are. They were in the net. They were 11th going into the game. They're 16th now. They, of course, dropped in the AP poll today. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that, falling out of the top 10 down to 14th. I think we can get into the specifics of it and what happened. I think it's annoying on one side. Why does Maryland play well against you?
Boy.
They've won now 6 of the last 7 in this series.
6-1, right, against you?
Yeah, 6-1, and
he's won every one of those.
That great of a game. It was Jameer Young,
who still hasn't hit the rim.
All-league guard, played like it yesterday. Illinois has done well against some of these better guards in the Big Ten, like Boo Buie, like Tyson Walker. Jameer Young had his way, and then Coleman Hawkins got a lot of due credit for his defense against Michigan State. He had a tough time against Julian Reese.
Big time. And I told you after the game, Kevin Willard, who still drives me nuts because he looks like John Gross, and even in his suit, I saw him
seen him on the sideline yesterday. I'm like, that is
most every
very
coach,
reminiscent of John Gross.
I mean, we don't need the suit back, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe you like it. I don't. I personally don't like wearing a suit.
I don't like wearing a suit.
Especially if
someone else wants to wear it, by all means.
I mean, just go with the more relaxed look like Brad Underwood and everybody is. Anyway, long story short, I'm just jealous. But Willard said right after the game on the TV broadcast that, and this was not a knock on Coleman Hawkins. It was more of a praise of him with the idea that he's so flexible defensively that he can do so many things. He can help shut this down. He can go out and guard a guard. I mean, we saw it against Tyson Walker in Michigan State where he played at as high a level as you can play, and then maybe as low a level as he can play on defense against Maryland. But so I give Kevin Willard 100% credit in the sense that he said because of that, we wanted Julian Reese to back him down. We wanted to keep Coleman on the post and not being able to be a danger to us defensively everywhere else on the court. It made a lot of sense to me when I heard it. And it made me wonder why then Dane Danger, who would come in a little bit and really spark this team. And I understand, I mean, you probably hear all about it as well, but there's times where I understand why Dane Danger isn't on the court. There's been games this season where he's come out, Florida Atlantic, where he looks like he shouldn't even be close to being on a roster, let alone on a basketball court. But you have to give the guy credit with regards to being able to give them some energy yesterday. And maybe he doesn't play as physical as Dane Danger should. And I think that might be the issue that Brad Underwood has with Dane. But certainly, I don't know why you don't ride a little bit more with him as he gave you a spark. Maybe it was because the first half ended. You got to go right back to your starter in Coleman to start the second half. But I was glad that Brad put both of them on the court for a little bit. I don't think it really did anything, but at least he gave it a shot, right? So I'll shut up now. But I thought it was interesting what Kevin Willard said in the sense that we're going to back him down. We're going to force Coleman to play a true 5 position. And I think maybe we saw a little bit of we're starting to see it, right? We're starting to see with Rogers and Edey guarding Rogers, and then Rogers explodes against Michigan State. Now you're seeing another team make Coleman Hawkins be a true 5 and not be able to just kind of – every team has these little holes in it.
Yeah.
And this is when you get to conference play, this is what happens. You get prodded and and exposed, and essentially your job then as a coaching staff and as a team is to plug those holes by the time March rolls around.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's the awesome chess match that is when you got a lot of good coaches in the Big Ten of looking at your weaknesses and potential matchups that play well against the other team. And every team essentially is unique in what they present. Like what would be a strength in one game at a certain position or a certain matchup may not be that in the next game. So I think as you look at it, and I wrote about Coleman after the Michigan State game, and I looked into his analytics and was looking at the fact that when he's guarding in non-post-up situations, which he's guarding on the perimeter, it doesn't matter if he's like on a guard, on a wing, on a stretch big man like himself, someone's trying to take him off the bounce, he's been elite. He's been a guy that's been really, really hard to score on. Guys are shooting in non-post-ups 22% against Coleman Hawkins, which is just crazy how low that is. Now, if you get him in situations where they're backing him down, he's more of an average post defender because that's not really – he's a converted – from a stretch 4 into a 5-man, just based on how Illinois wants to play, based on the way things have shaken out. And I know that some of it played into, like, he wasn't all that good of a shooter previous in his career, so it became harder to play him at the 4 with a 5 in terms of floor spacing and whatnot. But he's 6'10". He's still – he's added strength, but he's still a guy that you'd say is maybe on the lankier side and whatnot. And Julian Reese was able to score against him. So I think that's something you got to wonder about in terms of those matchups. Now, when Illinois played Purdue, they doubled a lot.
Yeah.
They doubled Edey pretty much on every catch. And the dilemma you get put in with Purdue is they have really good perimeter shooting around him.
And Maryland does.
What Maryland has is not that. Now, they had some of their non-shooters, guys who haven't been shooting it all that well, make threes yesterday.
Yep.
A couple, like one each, essentially. Jordan Geronimo was 2 for 25 from 3 going into the game. He makes one of his 3 threes on the season in that game. Deshaun Harris-Smith had really been struggling from deep. He makes a big one
that
late.
Was a huge shot
from the corner that rattles in. So as far as Dane goes, yeah, I think 7 points, 4 rebounds in 10 minutes is pretty productive. I know that as you look, it's trying to contain Jahmir Young. If Dane's on the court, he's playing drop coverage. He's not getting out and hedging ball screens. He's sitting back in the paint. That opens up a lot of that intermediate area for Jahmir Young to get whatever he wants, which unfortunately it seemed like he did that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I get some that are maybe pounding the table for more Dane, but on the note, it was just a situation where I think if I would have thought about it a little bit more, and another thing that played into this yesterday was in terms of my confidence, I picked Illinois by 12. I thought Illinois would be able to hang in a lower scoring game and ultimately just outlast them. Kevin Willard was 1-11 in Big Ten road games.
I heard that
before that one.
Wow.
So I want to talk more, obviously, about some of the inside and outs. And Illinois also maybe just is coming to the reality of they're going to be a team that others who aren't where they want to be in terms of their season, their resume, are going to say, hey, if we beat this squad,
good call,
we're on our road back to, for Maryland's sake, trying to become a tournament team again.
Well, and look, Illinois just had a bad game.
That too.
I mean, they went 10 minutes where they were missing 2-foot shots.
They're kind of due for one, right?
They were missing layups. They were missing shots. They were turning the ball over. They looked out of sync. They said that on the broadcast, and I agreed 100%. They just almost looked a step behind. And it was just, these happen, right? That's why maybe you're not a fan of pick a ranked team out there, but you see that night, underneath the whatever on ESPN that they got upset. Well, these are the things that happen. This stuff happens.
Yep.
Does it hurt you? Yes. Does it really hurt you at home? Yes.
Yep.
Is it weird when it's the same damn team? I mean, that's the weird part to me is that Maryland, but Jameer, look, they were picked to finish third in the Big Ten.
They were.
And then they've struggled. So, I've heard a few people say, well, I mean, they're a terrible team. Well, they haven't been playing well, but this is also the kind of team, in my mind, that can ring off about 3 or 4 or straight or 5 in the Big Ten. If they get Jameer Young and Julian Reese playing at a high level, and Dante Scott, those are 3 really good players that came back from a 22, I think, win season last year for Maryland. So, I mean, that's excuse. It's not, but you just didn't play that great, and Maryland, for some reason, is able to get you. And they did, and kudos to Maryland. Illinois just needs to pick it up now, go on the road at Michigan, get a win, start feeling good again. You've got 3 or 4 in a row here where you should be able to do some damage, and everything will be fine. But, the other thing, too, real quick, and I know Luke Goody's coming up here, with regards to only scoring, going like 10 minutes where you had that, we really haven't had that this year, right? Had it last year, haven't really had that this year. I mean, let's be honest, for the first time, and it's not like I wouldn't have loved to have had him against Michigan State or the game prior. For the first time, that was where it's like, boy, I'd love to have Terrence Shannon on a run out right now for an easy layup or one of his quick threes from the top of the key that always seems to go in. It's like this would be a nice time during this 10-minute stretch.
Or to throw him on Jameer Young on defense.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Good call. And I know Damask had a great game, and I love my guy, but that's hard to win games with him. I don't know. I don't know if that's my recipe for success in March, is just having him booty ball guys. I don't know. I'm on the record now as saying it. I just feel like if he has one bad game where he's not getting his things figured out, although yesterday he scored 20-some points. I mean, he didn't have a bad game.
26, I think.
So, I don't know. It was just an ugly day.
It was. And, yeah, to your point, I know we got to catch a break, like you said. If you look at last week's AP top 10, 8 of those 10 teams lost.
Wow.
Now, Illinois, I think, was the only one that took, especially a quad 3 loss. A lot of those were losses on the road, although 2 unranked teams. But losing at home is one that you wouldn't like to have.
No.
If you have Terrence Shannon in there, that can help you where you're having a rough day, but you still find a way type of thing. I think the Michigan State game, Illinois didn't play their best basketball, but they played well enough and weathered out a dogfight. I just think maybe it was the realization. It was not going to be sustainable to say, all right, Illinois, take off a first-team All-American.
Right.
And they're still going to be a top 10 team, and they're still going to just cruise into this top level of the Big Ten and compete for it. That there wouldn't be some kind of hiccup, reality check, whatnot. I'm not saying that that's going to be their new reality now, but things will be tougher than they seemed, and credit to the team to make it this long without that really showing up. So we'll talk to Luke Goody about what he saw as far as the game yesterday and where they go from here. In a literal sense, they go to Ann Arbor on Thursday, and then they host Rutgers on Sunday. So if you want to weigh in, you can, 217-359-2255 on the U of I Line and Link text line. We'll talk to Luke Goody when we come back. This is The Drive.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217.
Thank you for choosing 2 Men in a Truck. How may I help you?
Hi, I have a strange question. What happens if it snows on moving day? I don't want my furniture to get wet and destroyed.
Well, that's not strange at all. We have the same concerns for your furniture. With over 9 million moves completed, our team is experienced to handle any weather conditions. Because we pad and stretch wrap your furniture before we put it on the truck, we'll make sure your belongings are safe and dry no matter what the forecast says.
Not sure how your move is going to work? Go to 2meninatruck.com for your free estimate.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
Mom, she won't stop touching me. Broccoli stinks.
Guys, no phones at the table.
Family dinner time? Not easy. But you know what is easy? OSF On-Call Urgent Care. When you need convenient, affordable care for minor illnesses and injuries, you need OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Be seen in person or connect 24/7 online when and where you need it. Learn more at osfoncall.org/urgent care.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Hi, I'm JT Barnhart, the president of OSF Heart of Mary Medical Center. Really want to promote our emergency room services at Heart of Mary. Getting ready to do a campaign just to show the community what a great service that is. When you're in a health emergency and you need care, our team at Heart of Mary will take great care of you and we'll get you in and out. Our wait times are usually less than 10 minutes. Door to provider times have run under 15 minutes, and so you're going to see a physician in less than 20 minutes when you come to Heart of Mary ER. I think that's a sensational service for the community. One other area I want to promote is that OSF Heart of Mary is in network with your health insurance provider. We take all insurances, everything that is in the community, all payers, our providers, our hospital, our ancillary departments, our new surgery center, and our urgent cares accept your insurance. And so if you're having trouble getting in with a provider, know that OSF can see you timely, quickly, and we take your plan.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. We got Luke Goody coming up soon. We are efforting him. I'm sure he'll be calling in rather soon. We did have a 651 on the U of I Atlanta League text line on the note of Dane. Said, I love Dane's offensive game. He can be borderline unstoppable, but he gives up more points than he scores. He's unfortunately awful on defense. You can't play him if he plays Matador defense.
Yeah. Oh, as I yawn, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I wasn't yawning 651 at your text.
I was a few feet away from the TV. I was like, what is that word? Oh, Matador. Gotcha.
I was wondering why
more of my reading comprehension and abilities than you're yawning.
Yeah, and certainly, Dane, I think more than anything what I meant by what I said is that he had given you a spark in that game. And
Right.
I think sometimes maybe as a coach you go with that. You know, you just go with the flow of somebody that's maybe there's times where you're sitting there going, I don't know why this is working from what I have on the court, but it's working. And I'm just going to let it go, and I'm not going to get in the way of it. Halftime got in the way of it, but I don't know. I thought for what was happening when he was on the court, I thought maybe that would help us in the second half. But listen, the right play is to go back to Coleman. And it's not even that I didn't want Coleman in there and I wanted Dane in. I just thought, and that's why I kind of like the idea that they played them both together. But Jameer Young was the other issue. You know, that he's just, man, I mean, it goes back, you know, every once in a while I feel like we're going to get that little shot to the side like a boxer does when you're really kind of protecting your face and they just nail you right in the kidney. I feel like we're going to get that every once in a while from another point guard and someone that's really good, like an Ace Baldwin who didn't play well against Purdue, or Clary, the kid for Penn State that can light it up. I just feel like we're going to be reminded on occasion of what a point guard can do. And Jameer Young was incredible in that game. Julian Reese was really good, but Jameer Young was incredible in that. I mean, again, I don't think he hit the rim. He just had that little floater going, and you could not stop it.
28 points, team high, game high for him. And, they did a good job of running him off some screens. It seemed like Ty Rodgers was just chasing him, was a step behind him most of the game, and they ran him off kind of off the baseline and had him curl around some guys. And maybe, you know, if you go under him, then he can pop out to the three-point arc and make that shot.
I'd rather go under him.
Yeah, he went over 4, I think, from 3, so maybe that was something they should have done a little bit more of.
I'm always going to, unless it's like Luke Goody, I'm always going to make a guy beat me from 22 feet. Now, maybe I wouldn't last very long coaching college basketball, but instead of that little, I don't know, but there again, analytics tell you to let him beat you with the floater and not the
right.
But if a guy is that hot on that one play and you can't stop it, and it's like any time they wanted to go to the well, they went and it worked, then you got to start going under that and making him shoot a 3. I don't know. He's good though.
He's really good. Yeah, he was second team All Big Ten last year for a reason, and a guy that putting up 19 a game. He's a top 5 scorer in the Big Ten, so you give him his due. I mean, he's earned that as one of the better guards in the league. But it seemed like Illinois was kind of just all day long chasing from the hip pocket.
Big time.
And he was able to, even when he had a guy squared up, kind of go by him and then just make that floater in the lane. And to that point, so many points in the paint for Maryland. 52-26 in the points in the paint battle. Now, Illinois, if you look at their quote-unquote layups or shots at the rim, I think they were 9 for 23.
Wow.
And Maryland was 18 for 24. So that was quite a big deal as far as the disparity. Illinois just missed some shots at the basket they normally make. Quincy Guerrier was making those left-handed layups against Michigan State, but then yesterday really struggled. Justin Harmon really struggled.
He did.
Trying to make some shots, close range attempts. So, I think that Maryland deserves some credit for that because they're a top 25 defense. They have a lot of size. That's one thing I kind of was getting to in the first segment is as you look at the matchup, Maryland has size across the board to where now Jameer Young, when you got him in a back down, it was an advantage for Illinois. But like Ty Rodgers at times was trying to back down Dante Scott and shoot over him, which did not go well.
No.
And in general, they could handle some of the booty ball or some of the physicality that Illinois was able to inflict on some other teams because Maryland is that big and physical. But of course, it's hurt them through the season in that, they play Geronimo at the 3 and they play Harris Smith, who's a natural 2 guard. He's 6'5" and pretty jacked. I wasn't that strong at 18, but I think I might have made a 3 or 2 more, not in college, of course, but we're counting rec league.
Right.
But yeah, in general, not a very good shooter. Geronimo can't shoot it. They've been one of the worst shooting teams in college basketball. I think when you go back to that, that's what's pretty frustrating about Illinois not winning that game. And it's easy after every loss, you could say, well, Illinois should have done this differently schematically and just clogged the paint, doubled Reese earlier, whatever you want to say. And I'm not saying that some of those points aren't valid, but on the other end of it, I do agree that it's just one of those that you were kind of due for a bit of a letdown, even if it wasn't necessarily in terms of overlooking Maryland. It was just the fact of not having your best game, Maryland coming in and saying, this could be a quad 1 win for us. This could be our get back on track and really make a run at this. Like you said earlier, they were supposed to be a top 3 or 4 team in the Big Ten, and they have talent. They weren't picked in that position just because they're Bo Ryan's team. They've been there, and their roster doesn't look that good on paper, but they're going to be there every year. It's because they have dudes, a couple of dudes at least. But it was a bad loss. Like that's kind of the bottom line of it too. Is it's unfortunate that you took that one. You can make up for it by reeling off some wins, which the schedule's still favorable at Michigan, Rutgers at home, Indiana at home. I know at Northwestern's mixed in there in between Rutgers and Indiana, but that's not at least 3 out of 4 there
are attainable.
Would put you attainable and would put you back in a pretty decent spot.
Speaking of Indiana, have you had a chance to watch them much?
Yeah, I've watched them a handful of times.
That's a pretty solid team.
Their front court's really good.
They're really. I mean, Renault has become really. The guy likes to shoot. I mean, he likes the ball and he likes to shoot, but he's very. I mean, he's tough on that block, and then of course Malik Ware is so tall.
Khalil
he's
Ware,
just. Or I'm sorry, I knew I would say that. Khalil Ware is just so tall that he's such a mismatch sometimes to a lot of guys. I don't know. And they're getting decent. Xavier Johnson he's had a couple of games where he hasn't looked that good, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to take care of business with Indiana at home, but that game earlier, I thought when going to Indiana, if we do.
They don't.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good then, because I don't know that I would want to go face Indiana at Bloomington, because I think they've got the ability to step up and beat anybody in this league at home. And I think you'll see that as the season goes on. So that was just, I don't know. I've seen them like 2 or 3 times up, really paid attention to them, and they look pretty solid. But
yeah, they had a good game
against
Ohio State.
Yeah, Coleman can pretty much battle Ware, and then I think Gary A would do well against Renault. So you got some guys. So were you shocked that Brad didn't make any kind of an adjustment to put Gary A on Reese when Reese was doing his thing early? Because to me it was more of a strength thing than it was a height thing.
Yeah.
And I have to assume that the Quincy Guerrier is stronger than Coleman Hawkins.
I would think so,
Maybe
yeah.
he's not, but he looks to be by just appearances.
Maybe then you didn't want to have Dante Scott back down Coleman in that sense, because he can do it as well.
That's a good point. Maybe Maryland's just a bad matchup for us.
Again, they have positional size, which kind of counteracts some of what Illinois has been using against some other teams.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fair point. There have been teams that have quote-unquote cross-matched where they put their 4 on the Illinois 5 and vice versa. So that's something that teams do look to do at times. I'd have to go back and watch it.
Right.
As far as
I'm not. It was bad enough the first time.
What those maybe would have looked like in terms of – it did feel like Julian Reese had deep post position for most of the day.
It did.
And really to this point, I mean, he's had a good year. I mean, averaging double figures, obviously. I mean, I can't – off the top of my head, I don't know. It might have been like 13, 10, and 2 or 3 blocks. But he also is a guy that sometimes doesn't have the best touch around the rim, but he was – in deep enough.
That was his best game.
That he was able
Big
to.
Ten.
Yeah, it looked like it in terms of being able to finish. So
I've always said when an offensive guy is allowed to slam his body into you as a defender, I feel like it should be a give and take. I feel like, so let's say you've got the ball and you've got it 6 foot from the rim, and I'm right behind you. I've got my forearm on the lower back, and you are slamming your back into my chest. I feel like I then should get a chance to slam you back, right? To just knock you backwards a little bit. But, of course, if that happened, it's an automatic foul.
Right.
It's just, to me, it's just weird. And I know this worked a lot with Kofi. It's just weird how a guy can get the ball 6 foot from the rim, and for the next 10 seconds, all I watch is a guy like an inch at a time moving himself towards the rim by slamming his body ferociously against the defender and eventually getting the ability to then turn around and shoot a layup. And it's like, okay, that was great basketball. It just like when I was watching that game yesterday, after a while, I was like, this is just bad basketball. Like both teams.
It wasn't pretty.
This is ugly. This is like, I'm glad I'm not there to watch this. It was just one of those, I'm like, this looks like a Sunday at 1 o'clock game. You know, I mean, it was bad. It was just bad basketball, and I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. I'm sure down the road this thing will pop up where it'll hurt Illinois at some point with regards to Big Ten championship or something, but I'm going to let it slide. You just need to get back on track against a Michigan team that is, I would say they're Jekyll and Hyde, but I haven't seen the Jekyll, like whoever the good one is. I haven't seen that with Michigan. So they
must have shown it a little bit today because they did beat Ohio State 73-65 in Ann Arbor.
Ohio State is terrible.
They snapped a 5-game losing streak, but yeah, Ohio State has lost on the road at Indiana. They've lost 3 in a row now. The Buckeyes have.
They're 2-4. Can I take my comment back about that coach,
Chris Holtmann?
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah,
that's fair.
He is struggling. I mean, he's not done as well as I thought he would in Ohio State. Is it because, I mean, are they not getting portals in? Are they not recruiting at a high level? I mean, it always seems like they've got a decent did Knox just score?
Knox just had a touchdown, yeah. And I know if you're re-listening to this in the 5 hour, this is old.
It's good,
but those who are listening live, yeah, Dawson Knox just caught the first touchdown. Bills are going to go up 7-0. Don't want to take the extra point for granted here. But,
yeah,
7-0 over the Steelers.
That game could get ugly.
It could.
I mean, Watt's not playing for Pittsburgh. Their defense is banged up. Their offense isn't really considered an offense. So I don't know. I'm
just going to sit here. I parlayed the Bills and the Cowboys together.
Well,
and I felt pretty good about that last week.
The only game I stayed away from was the Chiefs
and
Dolphins game, and not because it was on Peacock. But I just stayed away from that because I didn't quite know what was going to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Mahomes, don't ever go against greatness.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
That's a good idea.
But then the Cowboys, I had the Lions right.
That was a heck of a game.
It was a good game. Yeah, I'm telling you, Vegas, I think there's an inner working that we don't know about that. Like every Sunday they say, here's the team. Like they know going into the season, like Arizona sucks, but let's say they go to Arizona and they're like, hey, so we're going to let you beat San Francisco week 14. You're like, what? Yeah, we got San Francisco as our parlay buster. So Kyle Shanahan knows about it. He's not happy about it, but he had to pick a week, and that's part of the agreement that you guys make with us to earn all this extra money off the wagering. So Shanahan knows ahead of time, week 14, they're tanking. Arizona's going to beat them, and then everybody that automatically – because we're going to list San Francisco at like minus 900, and we'll really get everybody in that fish and hook, right? And then we're just going to let Arizona win, and then we'll just make another $15 billion that will be dispersed partially around the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Until you prove to me that that's not happening, I think that is what happens.
Wow.
And so what they did is they went to the Cowboys and they said, I hate this.
I know you guys are familiar with this, so you'll play the part well. It'll be believable.
You deserve it. Yeah, we chose you. We chose you because, when we did this 3 years ago, you guys seemed to get like an Academy Award for it. So then we went ahead and did it last year, and you looked great doing it. So now this year we're going to go ahead and have you lose again.
Yeah.
You'll
get down 27-0 on your home field, and we won't think anything of it.
I mean, what the hell? How in the world are the Packers up 27-0 on Dallas? Dallas is a good team.
And they've been lights out at home.
Oh.
Lights out.
And CeeDee Lamb had 2 catches until 2 minutes to play or something, or maybe maybe I heard that wrong. I'm just like,
I don't know.
What are the chances that this happens if it's not Vegas saying, sorry, Dallas, but we've got a lot of money on you, and you're the one taking the hit?
I'd almost rather believe that than believe that Green Bay's got another superstar quarterback. That's more palatable.
Well, like you said, I mean, where were the Cowboys' defense? And it's been pretty good all year.
It's been really good.
Can you just see the coaches and all right, guys, you heard it. We got to tank this.
Yeah, they get down 20-0, and then they put in Dak Prescott's
right.
headset. All right, you got to throw a pick six.
Throw it.
But we're down 20-0. Yeah, you got to throw a pick six.
Sorry, this is what Vegas is saying. And they're talking to their cornerbacks. They're like, look, we don't even know who starts wide receiver for the Packers, but you've got to let him be open by 7 yards.
Yeah. And the other side of it, too, is they'll even go to the winning side. Like, all right, Green Bay, you're going to win, all right?
Yeah.
Which is great. I know you're excited, but Jaden Reed's been a receiver that's really been going off recently. We know there's going to be a lot of same-game parlays with Jaden Reed in it.
Yep.
How about this? This sounds crazy. No catches. No catches for Jaden Reed.
Oh, come on,
It
Coach.
sounds
No,
nuts.
I know.
But you guys are going to get to win. I mean, Romeo Dobbs is going to be wide open like 4 times. Does that sound good? Like, just no catches for Jaden Reed. All right, fine. Whatever you say.
It's all making sense now. It's all making sense. So who will it be next week? Who will be the team? Who's the early favorite? The Lions will be at home against.
The Lions will play. I think we got to see who wins this.
Well, don't they play
Bucs
Green
and
Bay?
Eagles. Green Bay's going to play San Francisco.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was thinking Detroit now will host.
They're going to host.
Oh, they'll
either
host
the Bucs
either.
or the Eagles.
So the Buccaneers will win for somehow, and then they'll upset
Detroit.
Yeah. Although I don't know if that's a big enough.
Houston beats Baltimore in Baltimore.
That's it. That's the one. You just nailed it. I tell you what, C.J. Stroud. I'm totally a fan of his. That dude is gonna rule football for a while. I like what Houston's doing. I mean, I hated it the entire year because it's just all it's done is cost us a decent draft pick. I mean, now we're going to be like 31st after they win or 32nd or whatever after they win the Super Bowl. I really like what they're doing. But we were all over the board this.
We were.
That's my fault. I mean, we kind of we're like knitting. It's like the lady that knits, but she can watch TV while she does it. And you're just like
a couple different strings in there, like different colors.
So she's going like different ways, and you're like, how is she doing that? That's what we were today, and I apologize.
It's okay.
We'll hear from Brad though, maybe next hour.
We will.
Maybe Luke. Maybe he was 3:30 Pacific.
You never know. But we do have to catch another break. We got a couple of suggestions on who's going to be the team that gets unpredictably upset next week to cash the FanDuel and DraftKings and whatnot parlays back to the sports book. But let us know your thoughts on that. 217-359-2255 when we come back.
I got another one.
What's up?
My hand went up.
Yep.
Are the Fears brothers? We just had Wade send that in. Are they going to be the next Christie brothers that don't actually ever play at Illinois? Did we want the Christie brothers?
They wanted Max. They offered Cam, but they didn't really.
Okay.
They didn't ultimately push for him. No.
Okay. And he's at Minnesota.
It's actually somehow Minnesota's decent.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the Fears
Owen
kid.
Freeman's decent at Iowa. The guy that Illinois offered didn't really go after.
I like Freeman. I like him a lot. He's going to – you know who he's going to – he's not going to be the guy that led the nation in scoring.
Luka Garza.
Right. He's not going to be him. But he's going to be – he's been named Big Ten Freshman of the Week 6 times, I think, already. I mean, he's already a lock for the Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
Yep.
He is tough, man. That was a miss. I know Moline is literally right in the backyard of Iowa, so it doesn't bug me as much. But
although he was originally from Bradley Bourbonnais.
Oh, he was,
and then transferred to Moline to play with
Brock
Harding. Yep.
Okay, Harding hasn't shown me much yet.
Yeah,
cocky little snot. But
yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But Owen Freeman, man, he is doing work in Iowa.
Yeah.
All right, I'll shut up.
All right, we're due for a break. We'll wrap up the first hour when we return. This is The Drive.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana invested in our community since 1908. Before you buy your home in 2024, we invite you to speak with one of our experienced lenders, Jack, Jim, Kim, or Lane. Experience the convenience of working with a local lender with local service, decisions, and loan underwriting in our comfortable offices. Visit us to experience the exceptional friendly service from our knowledgeable staff. Hey, if you're not already banking with us, give us a try. We think you'll love it here. We do. 356bank.com. First Federal. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. NMLS 435120.
Join the team with the Urbana Park District Hiring and the Job Fair Thursday, February 8th, starting at 5. Seasonal work, part-time work. Join the Urbana Park District crew between 5 and 6:30 Thursday, February 8th at the Phillips Recreation Center on Stoughton in Urbana. What a great fun side hustle with something new every day. Urbana Park District, you belong here. Learn more at urbanaparks.org. Illini fans, taste what's special about Jet's Pizza by ordering any of their specialty pizzas for $5 off. That's right, $5 off on all specialty pizzas like the barbecue chicken pizza, chicken grilled to perfection, premium mozzarella, bacon, red onion, and barbecue sauce, all piled onto Jet's amazing crust, made from dough they make fresh every day. There's also their super special all meaty chicken bacon ranch and more, all $5 off. Make your day special and order a Jet's specialty pizza for $5 off.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Back in the drive with Dan Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Maxwell says on the U of I Atlantic League text line, Niners will be heavy favorite and lose. A new Packers legend will be born and will rip through the hearts of all of us Bears fans.
I hate to admit it, but how about my Salukis hosting Drake and getting drummed by like 30? Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I felt watching it. They haven't. I don't think Drake misses against us.
Why is Drake so good?
I don't know. They're like
Every
Maryland
year,
versus Illinois, but they're really good. So like, whereas Maryland's not better than Illinois, I don't think they just play better against us for some reason. Drake is just better than SIU, and then every year they just hammer it. Well, they've got DeVries, who's the top player in the Valley, and he's been the top player for like 3 years. He's good. He's really, really good. So
it's almost like the Iowa versus Illinois in football dynamic, probably.
Yeah.
That's not
exactly
totally
right.
accurate, but.
Nope, that's exactly right. You hit it. We just never beat Drake, and they're pretty good. So that's your Missouri Valley update.
I do want to, in this next hour, we can go over the path forward for Illinois basketball. Also, we got to find some losses in the Wisconsin schedule. They're 5-0.
Yeah, right.
And let's see, because everybody else in the Big Ten has at least 2 losses. As far as the standings go, it's Wisconsin at 5-0. You've got Indiana and Purdue square off in Bloomington on Tuesday, tomorrow. That'll be fun. They're at 4-2, and then Illinois is in a 3-way tie. That would be for 4th at 3-2. So as far as Illinois goes, we'll look ahead, and then Wisconsin and Purdue also. Notably, I don't think Indiana's really going to challenge for a league title. That would shock me.
Right.
But let's look at that as we go along, and then we'll play some Brad Underwood from yesterday.
Makes sense.
Maybe
hear from Luke.
Maybe hear from Luke as well, if he is on Pacific time. Well, if he's on Pacific, that's 2 hours behind. Our show will be over, and he'll be calling into nobody. But we'll figure that out as we go along. We'll be back. It's The Drive.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Focused on talking to real voters. My opponents can do whatever they want to do. We're going to keep on going until we win.
We'll have special coverage beginning 2 hours from now, 7 Eastern at foxnewsradio.com. The deep freeze in Iowa is part of Arctic storms that have swept the country, also sending snow, sleet, or a mixture into the southern U.S. from Texas to Kentucky.
It is so cold and will be so cold that it is tough for the salt and other treatments for the roads to work, meaning roads can be slick anywhere throughout Kentucky.
Governor Andy Beshear urging motorists to slow down and travel with an emergency kit. In Buffalo, New York, an NFL playoff game between the Bills and the Steelers, postponed by blizzard conditions over the weekend, is now underway. Vice President Kamala Harris warning of freedom under attack.
In states across our nation, extremists attack the sacred freedom to vote.
Speaking at a Martin Luther King Day event in South Carolina with the NAACP, while President Biden volunteered with a hunger relief organization in Philadelphia. America is listening to Fox News.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $250 when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch sliding miter saw and adjustable stand together. Plus, save $710 on an LG kitchen suite and earn 3 times the bonus points on all LG appliances. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 1/15 to 1/26. Subject to change.
Hey, you're up next. Ugh, my throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Israel has 2 Palestinians in custody accused of ramming civilians with cars.
Israeli officials are calling this a coordinated terror attack just north of Tel Aviv, where we are. One elderly woman is dead and more than a dozen people are wounded. And Israeli police say that at least 2 Palestinians stole at least 3 vehicles, driving them into crowds. And despite the extent of the destruction that we have seen in Gaza, Hamas is still very much fighting back. In Khan Yunis, which is in the central part of Gaza, the IDF claims that it uncovered new command centers. And at the same time, the UN is demanding not only the increase of humanitarian aid for the civilians in Gaza, but also better pathways for that humanitarian aid to actually be able to get into the Strip.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Graffiti removal at a park near the White House after an anti-Israel protest over the weekend. And pro-Palestinian protesters also took their message to just outside the White House.
The Secret Service made no arrests, and they say that there was no damage to the White House or any adjacent properties, but some anti-scaling fencing that was put up for that event was damaged.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Some federal workers planning a walkout over the Biden administration's Israel policy. House Speaker Mike Johnson says any worker who does that is ignoring their responsibilities and deserves to be fired. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is out of the hospital.
Austin was hospitalized for 2 weeks following complications from a prostate cancer surgery. His medical team says Austin, quote, progressed well throughout his stay and his strength is rebounding. Austin, though, is still facing a review from the Inspector General over a delay in disclosing his medical condition to Pentagon officials.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. Now that he's out of the hospital, the Pentagon says Austin will work remotely for a period of time. He released a statement thanking the staff at Walter Reed for excellent care. And Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Hey, as you file your tax return, Busey wants you to be aware of identity thieves who could be scheming to steal your refund. We talk about it all the time. In observance of them helping you out, they want to provide some steps. File early. Criminals will have less time to use your information on a fake return. That's important. Secure your Wi-Fi connection. Shred sensitive documents. If you can't, or if you don't have a shredder, maybe a business somewhere in town would have one and can sit there and allow you to use it. Lock away secure documents. Secure your tax return by mailing it at a post office or official mailbox instead of your home. Busey wants you to be informed of any security issues, scams, or alerts that may compromise your personal or financial information. Visit the Information Security Center on Busey.com or call 1-800-67-BUSEY today. Take that one, Cliff. Busey, member FDIC. Your guy's in the draft. Your guy's in the draft. Your guy is in the draft, Derek.
I know. Marvin Harrison Jr. is in the draft.
No. I'm talking about Caleb Williams.
Oh, boy.
He is
Caleb
going
Williams
to the draft.
I'm tired of all the Twitter stuff. You probably haven't seen it.
I haven't.
It's, the old algorithm, whatever. You click on something and then you'll get suggested tweets. And you're not following these people, but then all of a sudden you're seeing tweets about something that you've maybe clicked on once. So, of course, I click on Bears tweets and Bears Twitter and whatnot. But now it's like the signs are pointing towards Caleb Williams being picked by the Bears. No, the signs are, if you read into what Ryan Poles said in his press conference, they're keeping Justin Fields. It's just all this back and forth.
Too much.
What Caleb Williams is liking on Twitter. And he liked one tweet of someone saying they should trade the picks so Caleb Williams doesn't end up as a Bear, and then he likes something pro Bears. Like, oh no, it's shifting back.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right, I've got it set up. I've got the NFL mock simulator set up.
Okay.
We're going to do this right now.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
First pick, we have six trade offers. So
accepted.
Hold on, you got to. So the Buccaneers, for the number one pick overall, are offering you pick 19, pick 52, pick 83, next year's first rounder, and next year's second rounder.
That's a lot.
Do you want me to go ahead and see all the trades before we go on?
Let's see. I would like a higher draft pick this year.
Okay. Arizona is offering you pick number 4, pick 26, pick 35, pick 66. You'd have 4 picks in the top 66 from Arizona and a first rounder next year. That's pretty good.
You guys are trading up to take?
I guess. I don't know.
This would foil my plan. If
we would take Harrison.
Yeah, what if we take Harrison?
That's a lot to give up for a wide receiver. I don't think that's happening.
Okay.
Oakland. Let's just say we're not doing trade offers.
All right.
Is that good?
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know how to get rid of – I got to click here to close, of course, because there's all these little stupid ads that – all right. Well, Oakland's pick 13, 44, 77, next year first and second rounder.
Okay.
The next one is Vikings, pick 11, 42, 104, first and second next round. And the last trade offer, New England, is 3, 34, 68, first and second next round.
I'll take New England.
I was going to say that's the one, right? So I'm going to accept that.
Yes.
Okay, it's been accepted. So New England takes Caleb Williams. Washington takes Drake May.
We'll take Marvin Harrison.
You have one trade offer. The Saints are offering you pick 14, 45, and next year's second.
Decline.
We're rejecting that as fast as possible. So you are taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
Correct.
I have selected him for you.
Great.
All right. Arizona then takes Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. I'm
Your
good
guy.
with that. Olu goes next. Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers. I'd love to have Brock Bowers. And then Kool-Aid McKinstry goes 8. So now the Bears are at 9, and you have 4 trade offers. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oakland is offering you pick 13 and 44. You have, Houston's offering you pick 23, 58, 90, 122, and a second rounder next year.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's 5 picks for that 9. L.A. Rams offering you 20, 51, and a fourth rounder next year. Way to get a little greedy, L.A. And then the Jaguars are offering 17, 48, 79.
Does it show who's available, like in terms of who I can pick here?
Right now you have Jaden Daniels, Dallas Turner. Let me get rid of the ad with the car. Rome Odunze,
Yep.
Terrion Arnold from Alabama, Latu. I can't.
Would it be dumb to pick
Johnny Newton?
I don't know if you.
Keon Coleman, Florida State. Here's where your team needs QB. Not that you don't know this.
Yeah.
Edge, cornerback, defensive tackle, safety.
Could use another edge. Who's the highest ranked edge? Is there one that's in the mix there?
Well, hold on. Let me reject these real quick, and then I think I can.
Let's pick there.
Okay, so we're rejecting these now. So the number one edge would be Dallas Turner from Alabama.
All right.
You want to take him? There's
Yeah.
Jared Verse as well from Florida State. Chop Robinson, Penn State. Those are your top three edges.
We could take Turner, or just we could go Homer-ish and pick Johnny Newton. I'd take him in the middle of the defense.
Oh, man. What do you think? You're on the clock here. You got 28 seconds.
Let's take Johnny Newton.
Johnny Newton is gone to the Bears at 9. Okay. We'll just let it get through this first round, and we'll see what Dallas Turner then dropped to 14.
I love this draft.
I was going to say, if you could get Marvin Harrison and then you a slew of picks next year, right? You move down to 3. I mean, essentially that's what you want, isn't it? Move down to 3.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So if you can make a trade, if you could propose a trade with New England, that would be the ultimate for you guys. Because you know that New England's wanting a quarterback if they're going to move to 1. They're not going to move to 1 and give you a first-rounder next year for Harrison, I don't think. Would they? Is Harrison that good?
No, they're not going to take Harrison. They need a quarterback.
If you knew Marvin Harrison...
Mac Jones' time is done there.
horrible.
Bailey Zappi's not the future.
If you knew Marvin Harrison was the next Larry Fitzgerald, would you give up a 1 next year to move up?
If I'm Arizona?
Well, let's say you're Arizona. I don't think I'd give up a 1 next year. But Arizona's just got so many. They have
you mean your swap picks and give up a 1 is what you're saying?
Yeah. So we would get Marvin Harrison.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. I love doing this. This is if anybody out there hasn't done it, it's just Google mock update simulator with trades. I think it's Pro Football Focus.
Odunze and Neighbors are both really good too.
I was going to say. But
Marvin Harrison looks to be another level.
It's interesting because I heard some guys talking the other day about Neighbors and Odunze and how much behind Harrison are they as compared to how much behind are other tackles from Joe Alt and Olu.
Yeah.
Fashion-on. I can't ever say his name. Listen, I have come to the conclusion that if this draft happened just like it did, I'm fine with Joe Alt. Because Arizona got Paris Johnson Jr. last year, who could play either right tackle or left. He played every snap at right tackle this year. And if you bring in Joe Alt as your left tackle, and I know that Arizona's got their 2 tackles for the next 8 years to 10, like let's say the next decade, that's pretty solid. To know that you are protecting your quarterback essentially for the next 10 years, I'm okay with that. But it's not Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right. So Oakland was one of the teams that were involved in Las Vegas was one of the teams involved in trying to trade up right for that first pick.
Yes.
I know there's been speculation of would the Raiders trade Max Crosby and then a package of picks to get to 1, and then would the Bears be more willing to drop further down in the draft and maybe at that 9 spot take Odunze with then having Crosby, so then you'd have Max Crosby and Montez Sweat on your kind of front line.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sold on Marvin Harrison Jr. I want that to be the answer. I think having DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr., some flexibility in the free agents market to bolster the offensive line and then draft some more defense, I think that's a big part of putting the situation there and competing in what currently looks like a pretty tough NFC North.
No doubt. All right, I started the draft one more time.
Yep.
For either Oakland or let's just take Caleb and see how it works out.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let me reject all these. So let's say Chicago actually is taking Caleb Williams 1. So they go.
No.
He goes 1. Harrison Jr. to the Reds or to the whatever they are. May to New England. Jaden Daniels to Arizona. Okay, now you're on drugs. Now this thing's on drugs. It worked once. All right, that's just kind of cool to kind of look at and
Hey, maybe we're going to get Malik Neighbors at 9.
It's so funny that your team and my team want the same guy, and you hold the cards.
I don't know that that's necessarily – they are very highly interested in the same guy. I think you guys want him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think we, number one, don't know what Ryan Poles is thinking. A lot of people on the outside, if you're a Bears fan, they want Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I just disagree with you.
Thank God we beat the Eagles for a 4th win this year and screwed ourselves with the 3rd pick, which essentially would boycott the Bears from moving down. I mean, right?
Say it again. Sorry.
Okay, so if the Cardinals wouldn't have gone and done Arizona Cardinals things and beaten the Philadelphia Eagles for a worthless 4th win to move then to 4th instead of 3rd, so now New England's 3rd, if we would have stayed at 3rd, I think we would have blockaded any trade down that you could have made unless you're trading down with Washington. But I don't know that makes a lot of sense.
Because then 2's still valuable because people are going to want to get up there and take a quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just funny that, like, Arizona needs Marvin Harrison so bad, and the Bears need him as well. I mean, who doesn't need him? But you know what I'm saying in this scenario. Just pisses me off, if I can say that on the air. I apologize if I can't.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
I think you can. I'll allow it.
Just ticks me off.
I get it.
All right, I'm sorry. This is not the direction we were going.
Nah, it's all good. Let's circle back real quick. As far as Illinois' path forward, then we'll hear a little bit of Brad Underwood here coming up. So at Michigan on Thursday, a team that we wondered, I know that the original line of thinking was, okay, Doug McDaniel's going to be out in road games, have the chance to play at home, but until we see it, then maybe he won't, because the press release said he'll be in uniform for games at home. And then, lo and behold, he's in the starting lineup today, and he plays. He's doing the Kyrie Irving, when Kyrie Irving was not vaccinated, so then he could play at home games for the Brooklyn Nets, and then couldn't play on the road, which was a really weird thing.
That was very weird.
A super weird thing for Doug McDaniel, because the talk around him is that he is having academic issues.
That's exactly what I read.
So if he's ineligible, he shouldn't be playing at all. If he's borderline ineligible, why is he playing at home and not on the road?
So my only thought to that, because I thought about this, is that a home game isn't until, let's say, 7 o'clock at night. He can still go get the tutoring that he needs
and go to class
and do the class thing. Whereas if a road trip to, for instance, next year to USC takes him away from an entire day, even though I know those guys, I'm pretty sure, right? You would know this better than I, that they take, like on the road, they take like a tutor or something, don't they? Or they at least have a study session.
Yeah.
Like usually an individual coach oversees it, I think. So, speaking of that, what's up with Tim Anderson? Were you hoping I'd forget that?
No, I wasn't. No.
Was Julian like F-bombing the
I don't know. I wish I knew more about that. I haven't dug around and asked my sources around the program what happened. I know that at the very end of the game, Julian was kind of saying to the Orange Crush, like, why are you leaving? This kind of stuff. Typical.
That shouldn't bother you.
Stuff that happened. So surely there was more to that. I don't know exactly what was said, but then if you've seen on Twitter, Anderson blows by Julian Reese and doesn't shake his hand. Julian takes exception, and then there's a shouting match involving Jameer Young gets into it. Same thing with Justin Harmon, and wasn't a great look.
Yeah. Well, Lindy says Julian was talking some mad stuff, poop, the entire game. But listen, that happens. And if you can't, this is what drives me nuts. And I'm not saying Tim Anderson talks smack. I mean, I can't imagine a coach doing it, but
it does happen. I'm not saying for Tim, but coaches do get involved.
I don't know how many times I've seen two players in a game on opposing teams talk smack, and then one player gets the better of the other when it comes to results, and then the other player gets mad and then wants to. And it's like, well, if you're going to talk smack, then you have to deal with it when you get punked.
Yeah.
Or when you lose, you have to, if you're going to enter that game, that's why I never entered it. Because I wasn't quite sure that I was going to win most of the things that I entered. So I'm not going to come out here and just start talking smack. But that's what drives me. That's why I don't like it in the game. I don't like it in the game in general, but I know it happens. And Luke Goody's probably is. Luke Goody should have been called for 3 hard fouls yesterday. And I don't know if it's because he's Luke Goody that the officials are like, hey, settle down. I mean, he like literally punched a dude once. And I was like, wow, how's that not a foul on Luke? He plays with an anger.
Edgy, physical guy.
He is.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you go back to the Michigan State game, look at how many times Coleman like stares down their bench.
Oh.
After he makes a 3 or after he blocks a shot or there's a shot clock violation, he is a agitator, like aggressor and instigator, whatever. Instigator, better word than agitator, probably. But he is of that mold as well. So it works both ways. Like,
I can't imagine this is the first guy to come into State Farm Center and talk crap for an opposing team. I just can't. I'll never forgive. I'll never believe that.
Yeah. But then again, I don't know exactly what was said.
Right.
So I can't sit here and claim that I do, and that, could Julian Reese have said something that really, really bothered Tim Anderson? Possibly. But usually things get heated in the game and everybody lines up and shakes hands. You don't have to say anything to the guy.
Yeah. Just do your thing.
That's normally how I would that's how I would err on it or lean on it, is just, unless it was just something terribly egregious where pretty much everyone other than Tim shook his hand.
Right.
Then just shake the dude's hand.
Yeah, just get it done. Don't make it a story. See, now it's a story.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, no, and Lindy's basically saying that it was bad, that Julian was calling out the bench and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Wade said Brad running the guys extra today. Maybe that's what Luke's doing.
Possibly.
Luke's
Possibly.
like, he can't call us because he can't talk because he can hardly breathe because he's exhausted after running these wind sprints. Today would be a bad day, I bet. Or they take the day off because they don't play again till Thursday.
They might have a day off.
Okay.
Although, yeah, you never know. Maybe Brad just random texted the guys at 3 o'clock and said, show up to Ubben, bring your running shoes.
It's always one of my favorite stories that everybody's heard, but when we lost to Atwood Hammond my senior year, and we waited in the locker room for Coach, and he never came, and we're all like looking at each other, and all of a sudden the door slams open. Now, you had to open the door and walk down a corridor of lockers before you could see the rest of the team. So we didn't see him. We just hear the door slam open, and he says, I'll see you at the gym at 8. If you're riding the bus, you better get on it. And we were like, oh. So the next day we are at the gym, and Mr. Riddle, Coach Riddle, Jim, walks out on the other end of the gym, and Chris Smith, our point guard, was bringing – I know I've told you this 100 times. I love this story. Chris – I didn't like it at the time – is bringing the balls out from the locker room. You remember those things?
Yes.
You put them in the
– basket of balls.
Exactly.
That you roll out.
Yeah, you rolled out, and all we hear is Coach go, Chris, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting the balls for practice. He's like, we don't need those today. And we were like, no!
Man.
And we would run, and every once in a while he would be like, I don't know what it was, 71-68. He just kept throwing the score out. Oh,
boy.
Oh, and then I had my buddy Brad Beasley. He could make himself puke. And I was a senior, and I finally looked at Brad after about the 8th line drill. I finally looked at him and said, do it. And he went over to the garbage can and we've been running for 40 minutes. Finally, Coach goes, I'll see you Monday. I think he went and had beer with my dad that day. I loved Coach. See, I love that stuff now.
That's a great story.
I love Coach.
Yeah.
He was kind of not a second dad. My dad was a wonderful man, but he was just kind of a guy I could talk to and shoot the bull with, But
and run miles for apparently too.
He had who's the strength guy? I'm Fletch.
Yeah.
Well, Jim was the first Fletch, right? not with muscles, but with in shape cardio.
Cardio, that's right.
Coach should have started his own like cardio tape. Hey! Today we're gonna run wind sprints, and I brought my Villa Girl basketball team to show you how. He's capitalizing off us. Oh, that's horrible. All right, I need to shut up.
All right, yeah. We were gonna play Brad, and then we got off track a little bit. Hey, it's a federal holiday.
Lon's here.
Lon's here, and yeah. It's 14-0, by the way. Buffalo Bills are up. All the Steelers are driving. 2 tight end touchdowns for the Bills, one for Dawson Knox, one for Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, hopefully had that in FanDuel.
Nice little
anytime touchdown score.
Yeah.
Tight ends.
Let's look at the box score to see who the glaring omission is. It's Stephon Diggs has negative 40 yards. How did that happen?
Shocking.
He just ran backwards. Catch a break, and then you'll hear from Brad Underwood, who may be running the guys in practice right now. This is The Drive.
Hey, could you tell me what aisle your car batteries are in?
Sure, I'll go grab one for you. Here's your battery. It might be expired, but oh well. Also, the brand isn't that great, but it should work for at least a year or two, maybe. Anyways, I went ahead and charged you for it, and here's the battery. Okay, have a great day.
What just happened?
Sometimes good things are hard to find, but they're worth the wait. Make the trip out to Interstate All Battery Center at 2504 North Madison Avenue and get all of your battery needs taken care of by the trusted professionals. Give them a call today at 355-4855.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Hi, I'm looking for a refrigerator.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Oh, yeah, well, I just need a refrigerator. Don't need the whole store.
But you get it, the whole store.
My kitchen is only about this big.
You get me.
Hello.
All those delivery, installation, and service technicians in back.
Wow, all those people?
The Dick Van Dyke 5-10-year protection plan, which means in the unlikely event something goes wrong in the first 5 years, your repair cost is nothing.
Nothing?
10 years parts coverage on the major components.
Looks like I'm getting more than a refrigerator today. How much does this whole store cost me?
Nothing. Come on. For real. We guarantee to beat any competitor's deal, all that other stuff we talked about, like our service tax.
And your 5-10-year protection plan?
All included.
I'm Dennis Freak and chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we say you get the whole store, we mean the whole store. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, these are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window.
And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks, get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
Yeah, Maryland deserves all the credit, every ounce of it. My fault for not getting these guys in the right frame of mind defensively. I thought we were as mistake-prone as we've ever been this season on that side. Maryland deserves a lot of the credit. We've played a lot of really good, really good guards. Guarded him okay. Today, Jameer kind of had his way with us. But got off to a great start and just literally went dead on the defensive side. And we had 2 actual offensive rebounds at half, so that'll tell you where our effort was at. I think one of them was a team offensive rebound, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see we weren't very energetic. As you guys know, I'm all about defense and rebounding. That's what wins. It's what's won us a lot of games in the last 4 years. A little better effort the second half. And then the second half was, I think we were 8 for 24. Somebody told me on layups. And I don't know, their size, their length, I don't know. We've kind of seen that all year. But we didn't make layups today. And compound that with really poor defense and defensive execution and shoot 23%. You're the 6th ranked offense in college basketball. Give all the credit to Maryland.
Coach, 52 points in the paint for Maryland. Was there something they were doing that was causing you some difficulty around the rim?
Nothing we haven't seen. Nothing we haven't seen.
Brad, Luke said Maryland was tougher than us and we have to get back on brand. What's that look like for you guys?
Practice. It's we had a disjointed day on Friday and or I don't even know what today is, and then yesterday we were solid, but yeah, we got to get back to who we are, and it's I mean, Quincy Gray having no offensive rebounds. It's let's see. Coleman had 1. Ty had none. Marcus had none. Or Ty had 2, excuse me. Ty had none, but Ty had 0 rebounds in offensively in the last 2 games. So it was coming. It was coming. Figuring out that, sometimes when you think it's easy, it's you forget what made it easy. And that's effort.
Yeah, Brad, you mentioned the layups in the first half, 1.2 points per possession on offense, and fell off the cliff in the second, 0.7-something points per possession. Were you happy with the shots? Was it just the layups? What was the...
They're layups.
Yeah.
How can you get a better shot than a layup? They're layups. The easiest shot that God created when he created the game of basketball is a layup and or a dunk. A layup. A layup. And you have to learn at this level to make some contested ones sometimes. They're layups. You've seen us play all year. We make them all the time. Today we didn't.
Brad, you mentioned maybe not getting guys in the right frame of mind defensively. Did you see an indication, I don't know, either before the game, at some point during that, it was going to be that?
Not really. I mean, Justin Harmon, minus 16 today in the plus-minus. After the game he played the other day, and we've got him guarding Michigan State's best player at the end of the game. And minus 16, and I'm not just picking on him, it's everybody. I'm not very happy. I'm a bad loser. I'm a really crappy loser. And when it's because we don't guard and we don't rebound and we don't play, that's the one thing that every single player can control every day is their mental approach to the game and their physical effort. And Michigan State we had at Maryland today just whipped us, and that's frustrating.
Brad, with you guys being top 10 in the country, is this a reminder that there'll be a target on your back, that this is a win that people are going to want to get? Is that something you guys will have to? Yeah,
we better learn to deal with that. And, now we can join the crowd. Every other top 10 team that lost to an unranked team. And we were, doesn't make it feel any better. That's for darn sure. We just, we can't think we're good. We got to understand why we've gotten to the point we've gotten to. And, again, Maryland deserves all the credit today.
I guess with Julian Reese, it seemed like Coleman had that matchup at some points and didn't at others. Is that just a tough one that he presents, or
who's not in this league? He's a good player. He had 0 against Purdue. I don't know. It's Coleman's guarded great players every single night. He's a really good player. He's an all-league guy. He's 11 rebounds, and he was dominant today. And I thought we went to our kind of our 5-way switching, and he didn't. It wasn't as easy for him. But we just gave him some gifts. We left the hole. Marcus ran out to a corner and left him wide open under the basket. And it's just I don't know. Mentally today we didn't have it.
Brad, Ding gave you a little bit of a spark in that first half, played 1 minute in the second half. Was that mostly defensive reasons, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Dane's going to help us. We need Dane's physicality, and it's not about offense. We can't throw Dane the ball 18 feet from the rim and have him shoot a 15-foot jump hook and then go down and get back screen and give up a layup. Dane's effective when he's 4 feet from the rim, and we've got to have him guarding better and not making mistakes that affect other people. That's my fault. That's my job to get him ready for that.
Brad, with the shorter bench that you have now, and Marcus, a lot of falling on him offensively, which is a little less efficient over the last couple of games. Any concern with the offense being too one-sided? Or?
No, he's the top of the scouting report. And I don't know, he had 26 tonight. I didn't think he played great. I thought he got pretty good looks. We got to, getting Nico back today wasn't quite the right game for that, but getting Nico back will help, give us another ball handler. It's we'll see, but a lot's going to be asked of him. There's no doubt.
Brad, you played Coleman with 2 fouls in the first half. Was that just your trust in him? Was it just the way the game was going? You needed him out there. We just don't see typically a lot of that from you. I'm just wondering kind of what the situation was with there.
Well, I pretty much trust him. I think he's one of the best defenders in the league. And we went to we started doubling. Reese with him to kind of protect him. Coleman had a tough day. He had a tough day, and that's, we're never going to be, the best team in the country when he's not at his best.
Coach, you're just going 7 deep right now, and Dane played just 10 minutes. Is fatigue becoming a factor, especially shooting the ball in the second half there?
No. Best conditioned team in the country with $1 million room for recovery. No. That thought has never entered my mind as long as I've been a basketball coach. They're 20 years old, 22 years old. They're not getting tired. They play basketball every single day of their life. Getting tired is not something they do.
I know you mentioned this wasn't the right day for Nico, so not even just him specifically, but broadly, when you have a guy coming off of injury, what are you looking for to kind of know when the right time is once they're cleared to work them back in the game?
There's a lot of factors that go into that. Practice, starting to see, some consistent play in practice. There's a conditioning point of that in practice. There's a matchup part of it from the game side of things. There's a tempo piece to that. But I got a lot of belief in Nico, and there's no doubt, Nico and Draven, those guys' time is coming, and they're going to help us.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Are you tired of getting the short end of the stick and always being stuck with cold water for your showers? Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing is here to help. With current tax incentives and rebates, you can save up to $900 on a high-efficiency tankless water heater, unlimited hot water, and saving on your energy bills. It seems like the best gift you could give your home. With the current promotion of 0% financing for qualified applicants, you can't afford not to call. 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. Did you know the Anita Purvis Nature Center is a home for live animals? Stop by the Nature Center. View the turtles, owls, snakes, and salamanders. These were orphaned or injured animals who wouldn't be able to survive in the wild, but they help educate the public at the Nature Center. Sponsor an educational animal for as little as $15 a month. And make sure that animal has good food, housing, and medical care. For details, visit urbanaparks.org.
Are you one of those guys out there tinting windows day in and day out, all different shades of black, and ready to put a little color in your life? Come work for us. At Aftershock, we're looking for a guy with experience in wrapping, whether it be window tinting, vinyl wrapping, anything of that sort, or somebody with just ambition that wants to show up to work and be proud of what they do. You know those wraps with Troy Lands on the back waving at you? That's our work. Call us, 833-DECAL-IT, or email office@aftershockdd.com. We want you.
Whether your regular beauty counter has disappeared or you want a beauty refresh, then it's time to visit Merle Norman. Beautiful changes happen every day at Merle Norman. Whether you have a special event coming up or you're just in the mood for something new, you can depend on Merle Norman Cosmetics to satisfy all your beauty needs. From advanced skincare solutions to the latest looks and color, we're locally owned and ready to help you with expert guidance and award-winning products. No wonder we've been the go-to brand for millions of women since 1931. Visit us today at 706 West Market View Drive over by Subway.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. You heard Brad Underwood's comments after yesterday's game against Maryland.
Not happy.
Not quite happy. Nope.
I do agree with his response in the idea that these kids are 20, 21, 22 years old. I mean, in college, come on. That's the best shape of my life. These guys are fine with fatigue. These guys are fine. And there's a timeout every 4 minutes.
It's true.
And 20 at the end of a half and the end of a game. Seems like.
I didn't necessarily get the vibe that Illinois was worn out in the second half yesterday, and that's why they missed shots. I mean, I know that you would pinpoint maybe missing layups as shots they should normally make, and is there any wear and tear there that's setting in for a squad that hasn't been having a lot of depth,
right?
And is being put in a position where they have to rely on more of their just core guys that, of course, had one of theirs leave and Terrence Shannon. But I don't know. I didn't necessarily think that was the reason why yesterday happened as it did.
On the note of it just wasn't your day, I thought the 2 layups that Gary A. missed yesterday were easier than the one he made against Michigan State.
Right.
I mean, it felt like he took off from the top of the key against Michigan State. I'm like, how did he do that? I heard Mike LaTulip on the postgame yesterday mention, he's like, I don't know why he won't jump off 2 legs. He's always got to jump off one. It is kind of true, but
Mike's always hammering home the go off at 2 feet, which I get it. It gives you a lot more options in terms of being able to gather and pump fake and just whatnot.
I'm just going to move on from that game. It was just kind of a Yeah. Hey, I've got the Wisconsin schedule up.
All right, let's do that.
Well, I had it up. Hold on. Can I say a beef about ESPN, the website?
Go ahead.
We are now into January in NCAA basketball, right? Now I'm going to take a crack at all soccer fans out there.
Here we go.
NCAA football's done, right?
It is.
It is done. Okay, it is still, I don't know what you call this, but they have 6 headliner sports across their, whatever you call it. You pull up ESPN, you see Josh Allen, who, by the way, just ran for a 52-yard touchdown, according to you. It's 21-0 Buffalo. So you see NFL, makes total sense. They live off the NFL.
Yes.
Then you see NCAA football. What am I seeing that for? Then you see NBA, NHL. That's peculiar to me. And I'm a hockey fan. Major League Baseball right now isn't making many waves. And then soccer. Is it even going on right now? Is there soccer going on right now somewhere? So you have to go to I know this is like first world problems. You have to go then to the down arrow to get to NC.
Where the ... is?
Yeah. Yes. To get to NCAA men or NCAA women. By the way, I'm so glad that this popped into my head. Did you catch the primetime women's game between Indiana and Iowa?
I did not.
On Fox.
I didn't, no.
Gus Johnson doing the game.
Was that Saturday or last
Saturday night, I believe, because I recorded it and then watched it yesterday. Caitlin Clark, first of all, Caitlin didn't have her best game, but had 30 points and like 12 assists.
Man.
She is something else. Indiana's really good, and Iowa pulled away from them and won by like 20. There was another girl, was it Missy Daniels? I can't think of her name. A shorter girl for Iowa that could not miss and was making play after play. But that place was packed. Hawkeye Arena was packed. And it was, I'm telling you what, Caitlin Clark is must-watch TV. I think she missed her first 5 threes, but still finished with 30 points. I mean, let's be honest. She's given the go-ahead to shoot whenever she wants.
Oh, yeah.
But she also had like 12 assists in that game. And she sets her teammates up wonderfully. She's solid defensively. I mean, that Indiana team is really good, and they were just blown off the court by Iowa, by Caitlin Clark. They were talking how she has a decision to make. Gus Johnson was laughing. He's like, I tried to get it out of her, as to whether or not she'll be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft or come back to college because she can take a COVID year. I would love to know what she makes NIL-wise. I would have to think it'd be number 1 on Iowa's campus. Maybe not. Does she make more
I would
than
imagine
a football?
so. More than anybody on the men's basketball team.
Well, yeah.
Football team, definitely more than
Cooper DeJean?
Well, I was going to make the joke and say I couldn't even think of the quarterback's name.
The guy that is like, kind of a bigger dude.
Who's that? Yeah. Deacon Hill.
Yeah, with the kind of mustache I think he had.
Where Jay would call it like the Deke sneak or something like that.
Big boy.
Big guy.
Kind of
Not a
big
very
guy.
good passer.
You don't look at him and say athlete. I'll put it
I'd
that
say
way.
not.
But, Brett Miller will tell you you'd say the same about him, and he was one of the best athletes I've ever seen. But no, it was so cool to see Caitlin Clark. I mean, it was just I'd watch every one of her games.
A couple of spinoffs from what you just said. Number one, another reason why I wish we had Jay Lehman in today is because he went to Mackey Arena earlier in the week.
That's right.
And saw Caitlin Clark with his daughter, who he said is 6 years old and a huge Caitlin Clark fan. I wonder what that was like to watch her in person.
I thought he said he had done it.
No, they were going to do it. Yeah.
I saw one Facebook post from him where he was recording where they were sitting. They sat right on the wall close to the basket. So they had really good seat. They were front row, unless he was just down there for the warm-ups, but he was videoing Caitlin, and then he did the classic, like he went to his one daughter and she was like mad that he was even videoing her.
Dad, stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other daughter who could care less, I can remember taking taking Andrew to what's the group that they don't play music, they do everything a cappella, like there's 5 of them, they do the and they sing and stuff, they sing like I can't think of anyway. They came to State Farm Center, or may have been Assembly Hall back then. Andrew was pretty young, and I was recording one of the songs, and then I swung the camera over to him, and he was just like mad at me the rest of the night at like 8 years old. I'm just like, dude, just deal with it. This is what parents do.
You know what's funny? I think back on those moments. Like, I see some pictures like I refuse to smile or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I was so annoyed on how many pictures my mom would want to take. And then I'm like, man, why was I such a you know what? And now I'll deal with that.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now, right now, Cade loves me and he thinks I'm the funniest dude
Yep.
on earth. And at some point, he's going to be annoyed by me.
Oh, horribly. Horribly annoyed. Pentatonics. Thank you, Sal. All right, so the Wisconsin Badgers have not lost in Big Ten play.
Correct.
I'm going to start reading these. You tell me when the first loss occurs.
All right.
At Penn State.
That will not happen.
Indiana at home.
Nope.
At Minnesota.
Nope.
Michigan State at home.
Chance.
Yeah. At Nebraska.
Chance.
I agree. Purdue at home.
Definitely chance.
At Michigan.
Nah.
At Rutgers.
Nah.
Ohio State at home.
Nah.
At Iowa.
Probably not.
That'll be a weird. It is every year.
It is always a.
You got one
interesting
team
battle.
that just like, let's go, and then the other is like, we're going to slow them, and then they've got Maryland at home. No. At Indiana, I could see maybe a loss there. Illinois at home. Why not? Rutgers at home, and then at Purdue. So
They get Purdue twice.
yeah. So let's say they lose to Purdue twice.
Illinois should root for that.
Mm-hmm. And then lose one of at Nebraska or at Indiana.
Yeah.
So that's 3 losses, and then you would have maybe Michigan State.
Maybe Michigan State goes in there. Illinois obviously can go in there and beat them.
Mm-hmm. Or at Iowa, I guess. I could still see them losing 3 or 4, but Purdue's already at 2.
Right.
And have to go to Wisconsin. I mean, they get Wisconsin at home the very last game of the year, Sunday, March 10.
Have to go to Illinois still.
No.
Purdue will. That's what
I'm
saying.
sorry.
Yes.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. No, yeah, because Illinois doesn't. We don't get Wisconsin at home this year.
Correct.
Okay.
If you look at Ken Pom, which Lon wakes up to every morning.
Every morning.
They are currently projecting Purdue and Wisconsin to go 15-5
Okay.
in the Big Ten. Illinois is slotted then just a rung behind them at 13-7.
Okay.
Trying to see who else would be in that range. That would be third in the league, and they got a handful of teams at 11-9 projected. You've got Northwestern, get this, Nebraska, and Michigan State projected at 11-9. So Illinois now, in terms of the projections, 2 games behind the top group of Wisconsin, although they're all by themselves right now at 5-0, and Purdue, if they are able to make up some ground. But missed opportunity for Illinois in terms of staying only 1 game behind Wisconsin if they would have won against Maryland.
Agree.
And that's kind of the thing. Like, yes, it's fair to say you're due for kind of an off game, and everybody usually loses one that maybe you feel like you shouldn't have or that you should have won. But if Wisconsin doesn't drop one at the Kohl Center this year, that could be the difference in a Big Ten title or not.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? You got to win your home games. You know, Sean Harrington always does that breakdown. You got to win. You got to take care of business at home and then steal some road wins. And that's the thing. Like if that was at Maryland yesterday, it wouldn't be as alarming, right? Or you wouldn't be as frustrated maybe with the idea that occurred. But
you'd still sit there and wonder, why in the world can Illinois not beat Maryland?
It's crazy. We don't go to Maryland, by the way. No, we do.
They do, yeah.
We do on Saturday, February 17. Yeesh. That's the day before Daytona 500. Let's
Is that
go.
right? I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that as well as you did.
Look, you
didn't have to mention it.
Right. Kind of like me with Ken Pom. You're like hunting down a starting grid for Daytona almost every morning when you wake up.
Absolutely.
Fire them up. Let's go. I can't wait for Daytona. I love Daytona 500. I've told you, I've told Trevor, I've told Kyle, I've told anybody that'll listen. even if you're not a NASCAR fan all year, it's the Super Bowl, so you can imagine all the pomp that goes into a Super Bowl. It's not like that. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Unless you're a NASCAR fan, then you're tearing it up and eating it up. But there's something about it. It's the first race of the season. The broadcasters are fired up. The cameramen are fired up. They're giving you shots that you've never seen before as they run along the sides of the cars. You're like, I don't know. There's something about the energy of a Daytona 500 that is so cool. I want to go one of these years to a Daytona 500. I think that would be awesome to go. I think I never used to have that on my bucket list. I just wanted to go to a NASCAR race, and I did at Talladega, which was awesome. But I want to see Daytona 500. I want to be down there for that race. That would be so cool. That'd be so cool. Yeah, but I'm fired up for that. Anyway, yeah, so they play them on Saturday. So let's win Saturday, the February 17th at Maryland, and then get me into Daytona 500 gear. I'm ready.
There you go.
I don't have a favorite race car driver. I don't have a favorite driver.
How many numbers do they have? Like, if I randomly pick a number, or is it?
They're so random.
Yeah. So I was going to say, whatever,
like 1 through 43.
Whatever day my daughter is born on, then I'm going to bet that car to win the Daytona.
Idea.
But then there might not be a car.
Well, that's true. You might not.
There's no 17 cars. Crap. 17 is in 2 days. That can't be true. It's way too soon.
I'm a dinger. There's usually you'd be surprised. You might be able to hit.
All right.
Might be able to hit a car. If not, you could go to step 2, which would be when Cade was born.
It's true. 28th.
There's got to be a 28, right? So, yeah, that's not a bad idea. That'd be your rooting interest. And I used to know numbers of a lot of the NASCAR, with Junior at 88, Dale at 3. I used to know a lot of that stuff. Dale Jarrett rode 88 for a long time. Yeah, it's just, there's some, I don't know. I think Jarrett rode 88. I got to get my racing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Skills back on. Are you looking to see what
I'm
number
trying
28?
to figure it out, and I'm not getting a lot of answers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're random. They go from like kicker to offensive line numbers, You're just like, I'm not going to try to figure this out. Daytona.
217. Just keep turning left. That's NASCAR. Love the drive.
My brother, who by the way, tomorrow's the 1-year anniversary of my brother passing. My brother always used to say, he's like, do you think they get home and like bounce off the walls, like walking down the hallway, because they've been turning left the whole day?
Right.
Those guys got to be in shape for that stuff, man.
No doubt.
Good show.
Yeah, we're out.
We're out, as they would say in Canada.
We'll have to catch up with Luke Goody, and hopefully he can catch his breath. We'll find a better day where he's not running. We're just going to assume he's running line drills over and over and over again.
He's always had a good reason as to why he
I know.
Either
I'm not
couldn't
blaming
join
him.
us or
I'm not blaming him.
Yeah, so.
By the way, quick update, 21-6 now. The Steelers will have a chance to kick the extra point. Deontay Johnson gets in the end zone.
Really?
For the Steelers.